The Blockchain Breakfast podcast is sponsored by Crazy 8 Token, the newest payment solution for casinos and their customers in emerging markets around the world. Crazy 8 Token is powered by the Casino Coin blockchain. For more information, visit crazy8token.com. And also, Futurist Conference, Canada's largest blockchain and emerging technologies event. Register today at futuristconference.com for this virtual event happening November 11th and 12th. And we are live.
Wow, good. Wow, we got a packed house. September 27th, 2020, Blockchain Breakfast presented by Gockstein Media. We've got Mr. David G coming straight from his G-Wagon there down on wherever he is, probably running from somebody. I don't know.
What?
We got Ross McDonald straight up from the hot tub, just came out of a 4-hour hot tub session this morning. Matthias Benjamin from Constellation Ecosystem and the lovely Sam, special guest today. I'm so excited to have you, Sam. I'm so excited to have like this huge party going on. This is awesome. And
thanks, Mark.
Man, David, you're looking pretty swell in your G-Wagon there, buddy.
Thank you. I appreciate
okay,
it.
I'm just gonna cut you off. Sam, you're looking really pretty today.
Wow. You know, Mark, you're my favorite. Thanks for putting me on the air without makeup for this time in my life.
You look beautiful.
I bet I do. Thank you.
Matthias Benjamin, straight from Constellation Ecosystem. This is a really, really cool project. David and I are going to have a tie into this, but we'll get into that a little later because it ties into kind of what him and I do for a living. But how are you boys doing?
Doing really well, Mark. Thanks for having us on. This is quite a consortia right here of people. This is going to be fun.
Yeah. A lot of personality. In advance. I want to apologize in advance for Matthias not being promoted because I don't know what happened, how it's we love you, bro. Like I don't know how that's
look, I have this list here and there's a big minus already. So
you want to be on Matthias's bad side, man. He's German. He's German.
I got some German in me. I don't want to offend them. No, but I do apologize. It was Mark's fault.
Yeah,
we have a good party going on here, so let's rock. I'm excited for this.
Yeah, this is great. I mean, Sam was here. She's like a mysterious ghost. There. Whoa, Jesus, man.
That's like the background.
That's like a 6-year-old hiding behind a corner. When you come around, it's like poof, there it is.
You know what?
Seems like a personal problem there.
Yeah.
Every time Mark gets in his minivan now, he's gonna be like, "Oh my God, where's Sam?"
Oh my God! Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
I ruined family vacations for you.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh my God. Guys, why don't we have her on the show like every week, man?
Don't.
Great personality.
Your ratings would drop every time you bring somebody on the show. I embarrass you guys.
Oh, this is great. All right.
The ratings are tanking with Mark here, so it doesn't matter at this point.
Yeah, I know. You know what? I've tried to quit like 20 times, and David keeps calling me on my cell phone. Dude, why? Dude, why?
Are gonna have to put up with David and Mark. They're like the Golden Girls. We've got Blanche and we've got Dorothy going at it constantly.
Wow.
Oh my God. For Aristotel's birthday, I went to Denver last week from the Bad Crypto podcast. And I got her because that's our thing. And so I got her the Blanche socks for her birthday.
That is awesome. I can't believe Ross is like 65 or 70 years old talking about Golden Girls.
65? Yeah, I'm old for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, Benjamin, Matthias, Constellation Ecosystem. I think people watching this are really going to want to understand what's going on. What is going on with Constellation? Let us know.
Well, thanks guys for having us. Where do we begin? You know, oh, there's dogs barking in the background. Yeah, guys, really quick. We had some crazy fires last night. So I have like a packed house of evacuees, if you will, from fires that erupted in Napa. So it's been quite a morning already. So we're based out in California, actually. Matthias and I are two of the 4 co-founders of Constellation. We got started a couple years ago to build a base layer protocol and ecosystem that is built for economic scalability and technical scalability. So we're something that came out of the whole DAG generation that IOTA really started planting their seeds, and we've kind of evolved that vision to creating actually a decentralized distributed network that's built on a DAG, or directed acyclic graph. And why that matters is DAGs are traditionally used in distributed systems like for big data like Twitter, LinkedIn. And Matthias and I got started with this, and our other 2 co-founders that can't be here today. So we've got some wild stories, and we're building some awesome stuff that we're excited to introduce.
Wow. Well, first and foremost, stay safe down in Napa Valley. I mean, I feel for the situation down there for sure. I feel for everybody down. I've got family down in California too, from my wife's side. And I mean, you guys do what you got to do to take care of yourself, your family, and everybody around you. And it's a pretty heartbreaking situation what's going on down there. So
yeah, it's pretty tough. I mean, there's dogs missing, and oh man, thanks for saying that.
Yeah, it's very real, and people have to understand, no matter where we are in the world right now, we're all dealing with different challenges, but this one's a very large challenge. So is that me that's delaying? Ross?
David's lagging.
I think it's David.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I heard something about him apologizing for something. That's all I heard.
It's interesting
Oh,
to me, guys.
jeez, there she is.
With Constellation, most people that we see who are starting projects, they'll create a base layer like that, and that's sort of it. But when we look at your project, you were just getting started. Like the amount of layers that I've seen behind what you've built is actually, it's impressive, and it's a little overwhelming at first, and as you get into it,
of course it's David. Why wouldn't I do?
Thanks, Ross. We completely agree. And one of the things, we've kind of been a little bit of a secret as we focused more on our community and really building a solid foundation of people that understood our technologies and could evangelize us, as well as provide direction on how they wanted to see a base layer ecosystem be built. And I think that's really valuable, is a lot of projects see a community as like a marketing channel. And they don't really get to know the individuals and personalities that are a part of this. And I think we've created a really solid foundation of individuals that are self-organizing. They've built out, well, it looks like we lost David. This has been a
even if he's here, even if he's here, we've lost him anyway, so it's all good.
So we're one of the few base layer protocols that actually has a live mainnet up and running. And this is pretty fascinating to see. We've got about 45 nodes that represent our kind of first stage of our network. We've got about 50 to 100 more nodes coming on board, which positions us to be the largest mainnet out there. So we are kind of one of these little hidden secrets that we just haven't been as vocal about about what we're doing. And it's kind of exciting to come out and showcase what we've done and what we've built and behind the scenes in a very genuine, meaningful way, and dovetails some of the work that we do with the federal government as well.
So, I mean, to roll it back a bit, I mean, we're all, well, Ross is pretty tech savvy. I guess we can say some of us are here pretty tech savvy, but I mean, for our viewers, it's important for me to have our viewers understand exactly differences in blockchain technologies on our podcast. So for anybody newer that might be listening, that might be tuning into our show, talking to and listening to you guys, can you guys roll it back and explain to them exactly the terminology related to what's going on?
Yeah, I think an easy way to say is that you've got Polkadot is an ecosystem play, but everybody knows Ethereum as an ecosystem play that built smart contracts on top of it, which gave way to ICOs and use cases around supply chain management as well. And what Constellation thought of was, how do we evolve that vision and have blockchain actually you could actually implement blockchain technology at the core of any sort of development. You can't do that with Solidity and smart contracts. You can't, partially because you can't do QA. You basically build a smart contract, you set it and forget it. And one of the interesting things around that is that, like, if you think about how much money is spent and sent throughout the internet through smart contracts, and there's no way to test this, you're really never going to have real applications like a Facebook or you know, an Uber or any sort of application that requires a lot of testing before it's actually set live. And so Constellation's whole focus is if we were to be developers and use blockchain technology, what would we want? And that comes from like a scalability perspective. So we actually created an ecosystem that could handle the world's data in a meaningful and scalable way, and mirror that like other technologies that we are used to in centralized systems. Does that help?
Yeah, so that's very interesting. I'm relating it to, like, so when you mentioned QA, I'm relating it to almost like, let's say with Cargill Food Company, Cargill meatpacking plants, you can relate Constellation to to the QA part of that, to the blockchain part of them producing meat, right? Is that something like that? Or into technology. So car manufacturer develops a car. You can embed your technology right into the computer chip of the car when it's being produced.
Absolutely. So I think
that's awesome.
That's exactly where we wanted to be, right? When you're starting to build that hardware or even software that goes into these cars, like, you're going to need something that looks like centralized data management. How do you collect that data? You can't tack on a smart contract as an afterthought. And so doing that requires a lot of attention to detail and building out a base layer protocol that can scale with more and more data coming online and actually secure that data. And that's a lot of what we've decided to tackle in many ways, is to provide meaningful developer support so that developers can append cryptographic security early in the development cycle.
David and I have talked about this extensively. Obviously, him and I have been in the auto industry for collectively 50 years, probably, right, David? About 50, over 50? About 50, right?
Speak for yourself.
Well, whatever. So he just started in the car industry yesterday, but anyway.
Speak for yourself, Blanche.
But this is, I mean, when I'm thinking now, I'm thinking in my brain, I'm like, okay, if you embed your technology into a computer chip during the manufacturing stage, so the CPU of a computer, and somebody's Sam's Honda tire pressure light comes on, you can track that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
This is what we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I think a lot of use cases in blockchain have been around, at least the enterprise or business use case has been tracking an asset. So supply chain management. So I have an asset, it moves from A to B to C, and we create immutability and say, like, that asset moved. But what Constellation's saying is, like, that's great, but when you look at an asset, just like you said, what were the details on the firmware update? When was the tire last checked on the pressure? How does it relate to other tires? So we've created an ecosystem that will allow us to measure those different data points, so that you can not only see the asset as it changes from A to B to C, but also what are the features and data points that make up that asset.
This is a whole lot. This is, I mean, to the community watching, this is a whole lot. You've got to really think, to the community watching, you got to really think about this. This is a whole lot bigger than what we're just actually speaking about, because, I mean, it's a very, very, very large industry with a massive amount of smart cars now being produced. When I say smart cars, I mean technologically advanced vehicles. And now we're talking as far as back as service systems. So when you're tracking all the data and all the information on that specific vehicle, you can streamline it back into service centers. You can streamline it back into sales. You can streamline it back into finance. I mean,
so Mark, this is actually a really good scenario. I actually just bought a car a month ago, right? And the canvas, or the head unit and infotainment unit in the car, completely malfunctioned. right? And it impacted the turn signals and the trunk. Nothing worked. I was like down to a basic car, and it was a brand new car. And so like everything's connected to one another. It took them three weeks to reconcile what had gone wrong with the car. They changed out the infotainment unit, but what they found was a clipped wire below the seat. So that wire was impacting the whole system. Now, had they had something like Constellation, they'd be able to determine what happened instantly by assigning various triggers around where is this anomaly showing up in the car. And can we address that? We could have saved, they could have saved a ton of money on maintenance.
Well, this is
and
awesome.
That's what I talk about, and that's what, you know, especially the automotive industry. That's what they need, is because if you can go ahead and figure out the problem, like service can go ahead and figure out the problem within seconds.
Yeah.
Number one, you're satisfying the customer, because the customer being left without a car, you know, it's annoying. And then that affects, you know, the automotive industry, CSI. So if they know exactly what's going on and another car comes in, I mean, it makes so much sense. That's why
we haven't even tackled smart cars, and we're like, oh, let's talk autonomous cars. And I'm talking about like a brand new car that just came off the lot.
They're still tackling challenges from vehicles made back in 2010.
Yeah.
So there's certain vehicles made in 2000 that were new in 2010 that you can bring into a shop today, and they still don't know how to solve that certain problem.
Yeah.
I mean, full disclosure, I own a 2010. I happen to know this because I happen to own one of those vehicles that there's shops that just can't figure out what this one challenge is in the vehicle that I own. And you have to go to Google. But this goes a whole lot further, David, because as you know, being in the industry with finance and service and everything else, when you bring your vehicle in for service and they take 5, 6, 7 hours, of course, they're billing it out at $1.50 an hour. Now they're giving you a loaner car from that dealership that gets tagged back to that department. So this...
No, but everybody's losing money in that industry.
Absolutely.
I know, you know, this is beyond the automotive industry in the way that this project works, but being that we're focused on, you know, the automotive industry right now, not only at the same time, you have, you know, giving out a loaner car, that's expensive. Remember, God forbid somebody takes on that car and crashes it. You know, like, I get it, it's under the person's insurance, but still, you just blew up a $40,000-$50,000 car. Like, if they can go ahead and bring in the car into service, and within the next 5 to 10 minutes, they can figure out the problem because they can spot it on blockchain, that is phenomenal. It's only huge. Do you have a satisfied customer that comes back to service, okay, and it's not annoyed with service, but you have that customer that comes back to buy a vehicle from that dealership.
Yeah,
or from that manufacturer.
I mean, I think it's relative. I mean, I think it's, I think we're on point, David, because I mean, the auto industry is one of the largest industries in the world, right? So it's good to talk about how this, I mean,
well, it's $1 trillion industry.
I mean, Sam was just talking about makeup this morning. So, you know, how does this apply to the makeup industry? But makeup's not tech. So sorry, Sam.
My whole thing is that industry,
it is.
That industry is only second to the government in terms of jobs.
Yeah.
So like, it shouldn't be taken lightly. Like, you know, people have jokes about the industry. Oh, used car dealer, used car guy. This guy's selling me snakes. No. It's a huge industry. And that's only like, that's the kind of stuff you see in movies.
No, but
in general, this project would literally make it so much easier for everybody to come. For instance, let's set an example on service, to get everything done instantly or figure out the problem instantaneously.
But we're only, the auto industry, we always think about cars, right? The auto industry expands further than that. It goes into recreational. So it goes into motorhomes, it goes into trailers, it goes into side-by-sides, quads, marines, boats. So you can track even warranty with this technology too. So if it's embedded in, you can track a guy's warranty. Oh man, you went off-roading in your Jeep. I'm sorry, you're not covered. Like, this can go into motorhomes, RVs, marine. This can go, like, this is.
I don't mean to cut you up. I want to, it's because I'm going to lose this, Mark. Ben, can I ask you this question? Could your technology actually work for SpaceX?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're actually one of the first. We're the first and only blockchain technology to be a part of the Space ISAC, which is a space consortia that was built like 3 months ago by Lockheed Martin and Aerospace to identify threat vectors in space. So as you think about the connectivity of not only just a spaceship as like you could say like you're tracking to be like, hey, it's like an automotive, except it's more powerful and goes into space, but they're sending tons of data back down to Earth, and they have to reconcile and address issues on the fly.
Yeah.
And so this is absolutely one of the critical things that we're looking at right now, and how spacecraft and SpaceX connects to satellites, and they're getting all the necessary data to kind of analyze on the fly.
Wow. Sam, what are you thinking? Are you a car girl, by the way? Are you an auto, like a car chick? Whatever you call them. Are you into cars and stuff?
I mean, David says I'm not, because I rebuild Hondas. But if you check my
oh my God.
But if you check
what is going on? I feel like I walked into like
don't listen to him, because Honda is one of the single most sold brands in the world.
David,
hold on.
No, ladies first. I have a question. Can you change your own oil?
Oh,
okay.
Hey, wait.
He's speechless. You know what? I think he's about to go dark right now. He's like, sorry guys, I got a connection problem.
He's like, I love and hate that girl so much.
No, I have two questions.
Stop that.
Okay, hold on. I got two things. One. What are we talking about? Old school cars? Yes. New school cars? Impossible.
Yeah.
I like how he's trying to find an answer here.
No.
He's digging deep.
The second thing I want to ask is, I thought Constellation came onto the show. I didn't think this was welcome to Sunday's David's roast session. Like,
dude, that's Wednesday night. You're right. Let's get back on track.
Yeah.
Podcast called, what's her name from the, can we get to the guys from Constellation? I'm interested, seriously. I'm interested in, that's why I mentioned SpaceX.
I'm totally interested.
Like, I would think like if something goes wrong, you want to make sure you have that data quickly and you know exactly what the problem is.
How scalable is this, guys? Like, I don't.
So, maybe I can give a little bit of a background there, because actually, to be honest, David, one of my best friends in Stuttgart in Germany, he's an automotive engineer, and he's been overseeing the production of the head units for entire car series for Mercedes that you're driving.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow. And I've worked myself in automotive OEM suppliers a couple of years actually as a software consultant, and so I know that industry very well. And just to what you said, it's a massive industry. And in the US, there's this, like you said, there's this retail sense of, oh yeah, it's just cars. But for example, in Germany, it's the biggest, most powerful industry of the entire country. So this is a huge industry in entire cities. Like here in the US, it used to be Detroit, but there's entire huge cities that thrive off of only automotive, and it's much more than just cars and boats and all that stuff. It's actually goes into financial services, and even more so we're seeing right now is the physical entity of a car is really kind of like secondary now. Car manufacturers evolve to become software services. They become software companies. And that's one of the things that's even more so striking. While average people go out and they go on the lot and it's like, yeah, what is this and how much is that and blah, blah, and they haggle and stuff. But what's really happening is that the entire operation becomes a software industry. And if they can't keep up with integrating new software components into their car, better usability, everybody, like, for example, everybody was bashing the German car manufacturers years ago. When top of the line cars, you would go through the navigation system and it would take you 5 minutes to enter an address. And now they basically slept, and now they're just integrated with Apple and your smartphone, and they took over that software component. So that's kind of like that whole trend in that industry. And just tying it back to our discussion,
I think Google is still the number one used for navigation. I don't think Apple. I think isn't it Google that's number one used?
No, I think you have Waze that has taken over. I think a lot of people use Waze just because, you know, they want to make sure that they can go ahead and step on the gas and, you know, be alerted if there's a cop hiding behind a tree.
This is
part,
just
like,
massive.
More so, the Apple Play or Apple Car is mostly integrated here in the United States. But either way, like this, like I feel like your Constellation is massive. Like the things that you guys can do and bring to the table is just like you can fix any industry. Like in terms of data, like because data is essential, especially like to know on the spot what's going on.
Well,
let's even bridge it into healthcare. Like, you know, like that would be massive to have.
Here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I'm thinking, David. Another very, very, very large industry, and we'll all recognize it, and a very challenging industry is a person's credit bureau. So when we deal with Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, and we're dealing with these third-party data companies that come out with these apps and that you see on Facebook, these ads, and hey, you can get your own credit score and download this and you can figure out where your credit is. Those are just educational purpose apps, right? And I can tell you from being in the industry, the amount of errors that happens in a person's credit bureau that takes so long to correct, because the credit bureau, of course, is only updated by a clerical person doing clerical work, right? So there's so many faults in a person's credit bureau based on one person's good or bad day. And if you can work Constellation into something like that where the data is on point, then that's such a huge industry. As we know, I mean, hey, not everybody in this world is liquid, right? So credit is probably the number one most used thing in a person's life over 18 years old. You go to rent a car, you go to a hotel, you need some sort of credit. And then, you know, credit debit doesn't work everywhere, right? So, I mean, David, I mean, and how that parlays into the car industry, of course, with finance and payments and all that stuff. Like this is just, how many people do you guys have on your team total?
We have about 12 people right now.
So that's got to get a whole lot bigger then, you would think.
Yeah, but it's actually really good to keep a really tight team right now. The base layer protocol is rather complicated. And so we've got about 6 engineers on that. And we've got about 4 engineers that are on top of that. So building out the application layer and application support that takes our protocol and plugs it into all these things. And then we've got a pretty vibrant community that have kind of self-organized into teams. It's called the Stardust Collective, and they really are creating a process for how to decentralize work. And so they actually have come up with a framework on how to apply for certain jobs within Constellation and do it from a decentralized way so that they don't have to become core employees, but can actually build out some of these problems.
I don't want to toot my own horn here, but I know a little something about large communities and having decentralized subcategories. But I was just going to roll into the marketing side of this. But David, that's your department, marketing.
Oh my God, here we go. How many times do we have to say marketing is David? Like, I wanted to ask this question. What separates, and this is not really a generic question, because what separates you and your blockchain and your project compared to everybody else in this industry, and who's your main competitor? Do you guys have a competitor or somebody that you look at and said, like, they're sort of similar to, they're doing something sort of similar to what we're doing?
Yeah, I would say we're an evolution of Polkadot, of Ethereum, an evolution of IOTA. And
I like IOTA. I like IOTA a lot.
Awesome. Well, we're an evolution.
I mean,
cool.
I mean, IOTA's IOTA. It's not. It's not.
You know what really caught me when I was doing the research before the podcast here is, for the blockchain industry, we look at so many companies and we talk about when is, this project going to talk to that project? When are blockchains going to become interoperable?
Yeah.
Which
Right.
is just like an insurmountable task, because you're not only talking about technology, you're talking about corporations, you're talking about egos of CEOs. There's way too many roadblocks. And then when I went through what you guys have, after your base layer protocol, you can transfer, manage, monetize, audit, and validate what you're doing. And that's even just the beginning. Like, for people who want to really understand this, I was blown away that you had a vision paper, a white paper, and a token economics paper, so that people can really just go down the road that they want to focus into.
Sure.
Like, how did you get there, like, with that many layers, and to split off the mindset that people will need to work with your project?
So we actually did something really interesting. 2 years ago, when we were trying to figure out who we were as a company and how to relate to people, we all like sat down in a room and we started applying for government grants and research. And really the goal was not that we were to be government grant writers, but it was to help us kind of learn how to articulate ourselves better. And this allowed us to go down these different tracks and not only just write vision papers, but have a core team that could actually fluidly talk through the technology. Even if you're not a developer, you should be able to articulate it from a robust, meaningful way. And government contracts are research proposals are rather abstract in detail. And it's kind of funny what came out of that is that we landed a contract with the federal government. And so as we started to, I think there's a lot of these crypto projects that are very quick to do marketing, but aren't quick enough to figure out who they are as a company and how do they want to be presented. And so it's important to not only have a vision, but a path to get to that vision that's really meaningful. And I don't see that from a lot of founders in a lot of the crypto projects. So you see a lot of these different tracks on how not only do we relate to other projects, but how do we relate to the real world that's actually going. And so, being interoperable with blockchain is interesting, but being interoperable across other chains as well as data management starts to create a standard for how new applications can be built with immutability and auditability built into the core.
Paused.
Yeah, I could have connection problems with what's going down there. Maybe there's probably a lot of people on the network down there.
It's interesting when Ben is breaking down the different levels of what they're offering and their mindset. He mentioned earlier talking about the DAG and your token that you use with your platform there. Sam, how do you look at the DAG token and how it ties into economies? Because you wrote your book about with stable coins. You can see your book here on the shelf. See that?
You are so sweet. Thank you. No, I was absolutely like flattered when they started talking to me, because it was, like I'd been a fan for a while. And, David and I were discussing this because when they offered me a marketing position, actually, I got hooked up through them through the Alphabet Fund. And so for those of you that are unfamiliar with the Alphabet Fund, they are the biggest funding group in cryptocurrency. Like, if you can get in with them, you are absolutely fantastic. So one of their representatives and fundraisers for this project said that, they wanted me on this project, that they thought that, I could really bring value because of my background in stablecoin economy and trying to be very unbiased. And then the gentleman also said, we'll give a shout out to Shane. We love him. And so
we do.
Yes, we do. And even though he's an Irish ornery man, we love him. So, no. but and then he said, quote unquote, and please forgive me because it's Sunday, he said, oh, those bastards are just like you, they're so nice and heart driven, you'll love them. And so like knowing that the technology is strong, their business partnerships are incredible, and they have the support of the most incredible crypto funding groups out there. It's just like, and they said that, I've been titled the social impact princess of blockchain. So it's just like, if that wasn't synchronicity and beauty, I don't know what is. And I've just been very blessed and honored to work on it. And I tease everybody and say that I was Mateus's birthday present because they hired and made me start
boy.
On your birthday.
Oh boy.
Wow.
Okay.
All right. We're getting deeper into
Yeah,
this,
I mean, that sounds like a two-way conversation there. I mean, being Matthias's birthday present. Anyway.
That's not funny, you guys. Come on, you know better than that. Straighten up, or I'm gonna put you all on Goxstein Unfiltered.
Oh God!
Exactly.
So
Thank you, Sam. I mean, this is.
I mean, Sam. I mean, totally. You're colorful. Like you're an awesome person. Like you are totally good for the blockchain space for sure. Like truthfully.
So Sam, you were brought in to be unbiased on stablecoins. That's not easy.
No, it's not. Did you think I accomplished that in any form?
You can be unbiased, but if you can be more, create transparency, like in your book, to really allow people to create their own opinions, or even just to watch the use cases of tokens. I think that's sort of what we're all doing.
And that's what I liked about this project, and and about the DAG token. And it was very, as blessed as I feel, and as excited as I get, I know that I'm a very happy-go-lucky, excitable person. And when I see something with value in it, you guys all know that I'm like a little kid, and I'm like, oh, wow, that looks so great. Like, I want to get my hands on that, And so I try not, I obviously try to do due diligence on something. And every time I brought this project to people that were very important to me, Travis Wright and Joel Comm, I had them doing due diligence. And then, I called David, obviously, and he's just like, what, Constellation? And I'm like, that was my reaction. So I'm really glad that I had that as well. And it seems kind of normal now. And,
let's be transparent, Sam.
Are we?
Sam, let's be transparent.
Hyperledger.
The guys know, because as soon as I saw Hyperledger, like I knew that they had it. I knew that they had it. When I went onto the website just to like.
David's having issues.
We talk about advanced technology, but clearly Wi-Fi and cell signal is
I was like, oh my God, I knew about the U.S. Air Force thing. I was like, Hyperledger.
David loves Hyperledger. That was what that was all about.
Yeah.
And we've brought that to his show, so he's very excited for that.
Yeah, it was just like
so now that we brought in R2D2 to our show.
And we brought Ben back too. So that was fantastic.
So
and I was gonna add, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was gonna add, it's amazing that Ben is even here. And thank you so much for allowing me to drag you in, because he's like rescuing people from the fires in his house right now. So the fact that he got cut off, you're probably excused.
Yeah, completely right in the middle of the passion pitch, right there. It was like, it's like classic. It's like Zoom's like, let's take his thunder. Let's pull it back a little bit.
But listen, I mean, this speaks volume, Ben, to the passion that people can have in their projects. This speaks volumes to maybe not specifically you guys, but since you're on our show, specifically you guys, the passion that you have. You're in a crisis situation down there in Napa Valley. We've got rescues happening blocks away from you. and you're passionate about crypto, you're passionate about your project, you're finding a time to come on. I mean, a lot of people at this time would just say, no, I can't come on, but you're making the effort. I mean, that speaks volumes to your community and volumes to the world about the amount of passion that you have in your project. So it's awesome. But
yeah, I appreciate you saying that, man.
Yeah.
There's like ash floating through the air right now too.
It's, I mean,
I gotta say, I got a chance to sit down with the guys and talk to them. And you know, I'm very blunt, and you know, I've called out people on the shows before, but these guys literally, like, their heart isn't, you know, they're aiming to do things to go ahead and really take their project to the next level. They're not looking to go ahead and pull a rug or do any of that stuff. Like, and the technology that you guys have is phenomenal. Like, just sitting there and just listening, you know, having that conversation with you guys. I understand, like these guys want to level up. Like, they want to take it to the next level, so everybody knows about it. And like,
in our defense, David, I think as G Media, we do a very good job vetting projects that are actually on our podcast. So I think we do a very good job. We've been fortunate.
One or two slip by.
I think we've done a very good job vetting projects and making sure that we're bringing on the right people. But the second part to this is the Lattice Exchange. So who can speak to the Lattice Exchange?
Yeah, maybe I can shed some light on that. Yeah, so Lattice basically came into existence as result of a thought exercise, right? So we were thinking about the entire DeFi space and what are the challenges of that entire space right now. And if you think about transactions and throughputs and how that works on the Ethereum network, then it kind of like dawned on us that you know, once there's a high throughput times, like for example, at the times of CryptoKitties in 2017, that the network gets congested. And what happens in these high load times is that people that see monetary benefit in it, they start front running transactions. They are maybe node operators, they see what's happening in the mempool, and they front run certain transactions in order to get their own transactions in earlier with a higher amount of fees that they pay on the Ethereum network. So, and since, you know, we're all like versed in trading and the financial streams and all these things that happen in crypto as well. So I was thinking, okay, what happens now if we see a black swan event like what happened in January, February, March this year with the S&P tanking, with Corona and all that stuff. So what we saw is that in black swan events, assets get synchronized in the way they move. So crypto was not a safe haven like most people would have expected at that time. So Bitcoin went down, the entire crypto market went down with the S&P. And that's typical for a black swan event because everybody seeks refuge in cash in the US dollar, and that drives all the markets down. So now if you imagine such a scenario, which will come sooner or later, what will happen to the DeFi space, right? So now you have literally more than $10 billion of value locked in smart contracts, in farming contracts, and staking contracts. And it's literally just, it's on the blockchain itself. It's not on an exchange. So what happens now if we see a black swan and liquidity seeks to go into cash, that seeks to rush to the exit? Well, what we're going to see is the network's going to get clogged up, and players that have a lot of money at stake, they will be front running everybody else. But then transaction fees will probably be so high that most of the small guys, they won't even be able to unstake their money back into their wallet or swap it in like 2 more steps from the farming contract into a swapping contract, which is like 2 or 3 or 4 steps. And that means, in essence, that in a black swan event, most of that liquidity that's trapped in DeFi will be trapped. They can't go anywhere. It's literally just sitting in a contract while value is plummeting, and it's just trapped in there. So, and we were like, wait a minute, we actually have a scalable infrastructure. Why don't we build a flagship project to showcase our infrastructure that is near zero fee, instant transaction settlement? And why don't we build a flagship project to showcase what we can do around financial use cases for DeFi with our infrastructure? And that ties back into the big discussion that Ben was starting before, is like, yeah, this is just one use case. And that's when we also started, you know, exploring the ecosystem and all these many efforts that we have, each one of them is a valid use case. And Lattice is our first financial use case that we want to contribute to DeFi. That was a long explanation, but I hope everybody's still awake.
That was perfect.
That was awesome.
So this is interesting because, you know, as you have Constellation in your network and DAG, that was my first thought. And thinking, you know, to Sam's expertise in stablecoins, you know, stablecoins are becoming an essential part of what we do. And now with decentralized exchanges, you know, we're seeing a preference in user experience between trading and between swaps. You know, how has that tied into what you developed?
Well, I think there's a couple things that if you look at the entire DeFi space, there's a lot of projects, and they're all band-aids on top of a faulty protocol. And that's kind of what Constellation's addressing is Lattice, but built on Constellation, is addressing is we're taking kind of the best in space from the DeFi space, like one-inch exchange, Uniswap, aggregating liquidity pools, creating multiple AMMs, and doing that on a scalable infrastructure. So when we talk about scalability, like we started in the beginning, how is this scalable? Well, that's where Constellation's coming in. We're showing how Lattice can be built on top of a scalable protocol, not just from a technological perspective, but also from an economic perspective, where Matthias is saying, like, we don't have transaction fees on DAG. And people are like, well, how do you build a business out of that? How does that happen? Well, now people are starting to see that, okay, Constellation has this ecosystem that doesn't have fees at the core. So now you can freely build applications on top of it. It's like my example I say is like, you go to get a mortgage and the bank is like, hey, we have 5%, you know, your mortgage is 5% interest. And then you go across the street and the bank goes, yeah, we have 1% because the money that we're getting is basically free. So who would you go with, right? Yeah. So when we think about technological scalability, we also need to think about economic scalability. And Ethereum has gas fees built and programmed at the core. We don't have that. So I think you're going to see a lot of people go, oh, that's what Constellation's about. Let's go build something like that on top of it.
So the thing is, we went ahead, we unbanked, like me, I unbanked myself, and I got into the space to avoid fees. So that's one of the reasons, right?
Right.
And now we're, you know, listen, we have to give props to Ethereum, because without Ethereum, we really wouldn't have a space, right? But for me personally, looking at Ethereum, I believe 2.0, when it does come out, it'll completely collapse. That's just me. Look, that's just my personal opinion. Again, it might not, nothing might happen. But again, paying these fees, some of these you'd rather go to a bank then, because some of these fees to take out money, gas fees of $1,100, $800, $700. I mean, the bank will charge. I mean, listen, I try to get away from the $20, $30 fees. Here, I'm essentially paying, like, you know, 1,000 times that, you know, that fee, and it's just like,
we're supposed to be evolved. Like,
correct.
Blockchain is supposed to be an evolution. This sounds like a de-evolution.
Actually, Ethereum last week, for me personally, Ethereum was actually more expensive than a bank, and PayPal.
No, but every time Uniswap goes on fire and every time DeFi goes on fire, it just congests the network, and like, it can't handle it. Like, you can see it cannot handle the amount of traffic. So we need, obviously, something like your project to go ahead and step up and say, hey guys, we can handle all the traffic and you're not paying these insane gas fees.
But you also got to consider, and that really ties back to what Ben said about economic scalability, right? I mean, we are only talking about the financial use case right now, but put yourself into the shoes of somebody who really wants to build a legit, like, quote unquote, business, like from the traditional sense, right? No, I mean, DeFi is an ecosystem in itself.
No. Just
if you think about building an actual business that ties to some extent into the real world or into existing customer bases, how do you scale that on an infrastructure where fees are fluctuating with network utility at such an extent and poses systemic risk. That's what we mean with economic scalability. And now if you build, you know, on a fee-less infrastructure, you determine the fee you're taking, and that fee remains stable for yourself and for your customers, because that's the business model delta in the tokenomics that you define by building on top of that infrastructure. So it's like a WordPress. It's like a WordPress.
That's how, that's how it should be. But that's how it should be. I mean, not to keep bashing Ethereum. It shouldn't be like Ethereum. I mean, that's not what crypto is about. That's not what the entire space is about. I mean, we might as well go back to Bank of America, Chase, and I'll just run through, all the other charters that are out there.
These are just growing pains. I mean, let's be honest.
No, that's not growing pains. That is
when
not
Ethereum.
Pains.
I know, but
I will not accept that as an excuse.
When Ethereum, when Ethereum came out, they don't.
Mark, you cannot say that it's growing pains.
It
is. You know what it is? It's laziness.
See, that's not when Ethereum came. No, dude. No, you're missing what I'm saying. When Ethereum came out and their design, they didn't think forward this far. And
no, but how can you not? No. You sit back. First of all, everything's DeFi. Let's get rid of this whole DeFi just came out in 2020 shit. DeFi was always here. What do you think Bitcoin is? It is DeFi. You're unbanking yourself. It's DeFi. Decentralization finance. Like, let's not this new word DeFi. It just came out. Yield farming just came. No,
I'm talking about the new DeFi that we're all Bitcoin's DeFi. I get that, but this new version of DeFi.
What is the new? What is the new version of DeFi? I don't understand that. All I understand is
it's the marketing.
No, it is, and it's 2007 ICOs. Totally. The hustlers that hustled you out of your money in 2017. They went ahead and rewrapped everything into, hey guys, check out DeFi. And for most people, if you sit back, if you know about the space, you're like, what are you talking about DeFi? It's been around. Mm-hmm. What did you do different? There's nothing different.
I think what's interesting here, though, is with DeFi, and I hate to roast Uniswap, and you guys mentioned this in your Lattice white paper, is that Uniswap has fixed fees, and they're just like, whatever. Mm-hmm. Like they go version 1, version 2, they don't fix it. And right now, Ethereum hits, 3, 4, 5, 600, it stops working. It does not function. And yet you have adjustable fees within Lattice.
I like Lattice. I like what Lattice brings, but let's go ahead and give props to Uniswap for one thing. That they went ahead and said, here you go, guys. Anybody can list.
Super easy, simple.
Yeah, you know what? It's like, here you go, where, no, my project, I really do have a real project. Now I have to wait because I have to apply for a listing. I have to see if a CX will actually accept me, and it'll take a year and a half, and then my project's out of date.
Well, it's not anybody. Not anybody can list.
No, but that's what I'm saying. What do you mean not anybody can list on Uniswap? Most projects are built on ERC20s.
But you just said anybody. It's like non-ERC20s.
Okay, fine.
Mm-hmm.
Right. All I'm saying, you get where I was going with it. I'm just saying in general that most projects are built on ERC20s until they go ahead and find a new blockchain. For me, that's how I see it.
Well, there's lots of blockchains out there. I mean, speaking of which, of course, Ripple. Like, there's lots of blockchains you can build off of, right?
Yeah, just like Casino Coin.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Which is actually, it's a really good blockchain. It's actually made for a ton of use cases in this world.
I mean, we were talking about, me and the guys were talking about, I don't know how it came up, but I was like, the reason why I like Ripple is because they created products for a certain industry, which, you don't have to like Ripple. You don't have to like anything about them, but at the end of the day, they created something that has a real use case towards a certain industry. So you have to applaud it, whether you like them or not.
Okay. How large is the remittance industry in the world? It's pretty darn large.
Yeah. So, ODL is an effective, it's better than Swift technology. So, and I'll always stand on that.
Number 1, 2, and 3 countries in the world for sending money back home in remittances. You're going to go India, Mexico, and Philippines, right? So.
Correct. But this is where Lattice comes in. Like Lattice now can go ahead and take the stage and improve upon Uniswap's model. Like Uniswap didn't do anything bad. They put it out there. Now you have people that can go ahead and improve it. That's really it. Ross said it right. Once it hits a certain, certain level of volume, you're screwed on there. So, we need to find somebody that can go ahead and do it. And here you go. Why not Constellation? Why not Lattice?
And I feel, on another side note, before it leaves my brain, because that's just how my brain works, I feel we need to get Sam on a podcast to speak specifically about stablecoins, because that's a very, very, very large part of this space, and it's blowing up, and there's a ton of them. And to the average person coming into this space, man, I can tell you how many people I've tried to onboard, and it's very confusing right now for people. What is this DT? What is this stable? Man, people's brains are spinning, and it's too confusing for people to learn.
People's brains aren't spinning. People are looking to make money. So a stable coin, when they see a stable coin, to them, it's not money. To them, what money is jumping onto Uniswap, because they've been stuck in the bear market for 3 years. Jump onto Uniswap. I'm going after sushi. I'm going after turtle. I'm going after whatever it is. Okay, tree branch token. Okay, that thing's going 50 times. I'm taking my money out, if I even can, with Ethereum, with their $4,000 fee to take it out. And then I'm taking my dollar profit. That's what people are looking at.
I'm a big fan of, like, you go to a dealership to buy a car, you don't go to Walmart to buy a car. So if we have somebody that we know, like Sam, that is very versed in stable coins, it's a huge benefit to the community to learn and hear from that person. Like, I feel like we need to have her on.
I'm not saying that. I would love to have Sam on, but those purists like me, like, to listen about stable coins. I'm just talking about the current market right now. Nobody gives a crap. No disrespect, Sam. It's just like nobody cares about real projects. Like, we have Constellation. I guarantee you the purist cares. The purists will go ahead and tune in, and they will go ahead and look into Constellation after this, after this podcast is done. The kids that are on here that are 20 years old, they're looking for gains instantly. They're looking for instant gratification. They want money to hit their MetaMask or whatever wallet they're using to connect to Uniswap right now. Well, and that's what it is. It's right now.
Well, we can thank 2017 for that,
Absolutely. We can thank the ICOs that went ahead and raised $50 million and did not deliver on their projects, even though they had a Lamborghini for a PDF.
I agree with you, David, but I also think that the younger kids too, 20 to 30, I think that they're seeing too, the Googles, the Facebook, the JP Morgans and stuff. They've heard all those names. And a lot of these people are making stable coins. And the thing of it is a lot of everything to make money is going to onboard on and off through stable coins. I mean, Tether is not the #1 traded digital asset in the world for no reason. So you people, and you can do harvesting and hedging and make a profit on stable coins and protect your assets. Ross probably knows that because he has my book right there. So
Sam, you know what? You're right.
How come no
You're
one
absolutely
Sam's
right.
book in their background?
Well, Sam,
because you bought them all.
Look at the library behind me, guys.
Yeah, that's true.
Mathis is the only one that actually has a library in back of him. At the end of the day, though, like, Sam #1 never sent me the book, nor I was like really shocked.
You have to buy it, David. Go and buy it like me and support someone.
Yeah,
I will. Oh my God!
I'll mail you one. Yeah, okay. If you want to go there, I've been in New York twice in the last month. But guess who's not come see me? Ooh. So you could have come pick up your book, Mister.
Let's keep it real quick. She said she was in New York. New York is not Connecticut, nor is in New Jersey. Okay, so you were not in New York. You were in New York for you were passing by New York. That's what you were doing.
New York is basically New Jersey. You're separated by a bridge.
Okay, first of all, that's like saying Calgary is basically Edmonton.
It is.
No, it's not.
It's not.
Don't dare. Don't say that. Okay, guys, but I have a question about Lattice and your liquidity pools. So when you are building your own Lattice liquidity pool and DEG, how does that tie in to, as you mentioned, to microservice frameworks that you're offering. So I guess more specifically, like, can people create liquidity pools with multiple tokens? And is that
yes,
on
yes?
your
So
network? Because that is not available on most dexes.
Yes, so let me answer that. I think there's multiple questions in there, but for once, yes. So once the build out is fully complete, which is the third build out stage, when everything, trade settlement and all that stuff, will happen on Lattice. Then what we have is cross-chain pools with the entire ERC20 ecosystem. So that means people can stake their DAG and in a cross-chain pool, and they have access to the entire ERC20 ecosystem. So with that, there are multiple subsets, which means, functionalities like not only 50-50 pools, but 70-30 pools, or whatever ratio you have, like Balancer has it, for example, or even considering one-sided liquidity, like Black Hole and Cream have spearheaded that very recently. But in essence, you can use your DAG token and have access liquidity to an entire freaking ecosystem, while benefiting from the trade settlement on the Lattice side of things, which means it's an added utility for the DAG token as well, and for people who have supported DAG for a long time. We are considering trading rebates for people that swap their DAG into LTX, or if you even farm in a farming pool or in a liquidity pool, LTX is a reward for people who hold DAG and who will supply their liquidity into these cross-chain pools. So it's an added incentive for people that are actually already DAG holders to participate in that ecosystem. And LTX in itself, I mean, it's a rather classical way of participating in decentralized governance. And like Ben said, we have already a very strong group and experience in how we run decentralized organizations and how they run themselves, rather. So this is an extension of that thought, that we take it really serious, that a platform like that can govern itself and determine fees and the business model and how they want to run themselves.
That's incredible. Now that's interesting that you mentioned that you can stake on not on a 1-to-1 ratio. You have different ratios available, because I've never heard of that before. That's incredible.
No, I mean, Balancer has ratioed pools, right? So they have pools that are 70-30 or 50-60, not 50-60, 40-60, all kinds of, if you look, and they also have multi-asset pools. So you can not only have one or two assets, you have 3-4 assets in a pool, and we're looking to do very similar things.
Now those ratios are very, very important. I think if people are learning about those, or if people are listening to this, it really gives you options. I think people look at that the same way if they're using their Bitcoin for getting loans. These loan to value ratios, or these ratios that you can create a liquidity pool, they're very important. There are some platforms out there that will run those ratios far too high, and you run the risk of losing your asset, or to having a market call. How does that tie in to when people are creating these liquidity pools? What do they have to consider?
Routing, for sure. Absolutely. How fast they can route it. I mean, think of like centralized exchanges and how they fill order books. If a centralized exchange can't, they create cross flows into dexes, for example, to have those filled. Well, how fast can that happen, right? So you're going to need a scalable infrastructure that can do that fast and cheap. So, I mean, you have to consider that. And I think that we're hitting the nail on the head on everything that we're attacking the space. So, I mean, a lot of what we're trying to do is just like, we talk about blockchain growing up in a sense, and this is exactly what we're talking. How do you play in traditional securities where hedge funds use tons of data and are doing like extremely fast trades? Like, we're not even close to that on what's on DeFi now. There's so much potential ahead of us.
Yeah, you see people trading stocks and exchanges, and actually moving their office closer so it can be quicker, and on a shorter fiber network, and we're not even there yet.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's an awesome movie I watched on some of the race to get a faster trade. Like we're talking milliseconds, can create millions, if not billions, of dollars. And so like they were rerouting the actual like wires for just and moving. God, what was that book? It was called like Fast Boys or something like that. About how they were moving servers like closer to certain computers closer to servers just to get that faster millisecond. So we're going to start to get there in DeFi. That's why there's like so much room to grow, and everybody that's going, wow, it's only a $10 billion potential, dude, $30 trillion in traditional securities. And now you start looking at speed and reconciliation. You start to play the game that the boys are doing in traditional securities. We're going to see that opportunity, that growth opportunity. So
yeah, I'm noticing even with the speed of things now, I'm noticing on dexes a lot more trading bots these days, which are automating things. You know, I'm looking at sell walls that are up there, and if you try to buy through it or you're just watching it, and it just repopulates. And these things are happening pretty quickly. Have you guys noticed that, or are there rules and regulations behind bots that you will allow or disallow?
I mean, essentially, we're going to want like a marketplace where people can select different AMMs that are coin specific or optimized using certain amount of data. Like talking about the Constellation narrative about securing data, we want to create this entire decentralized exchange where you're oracleizing data, and people can create new algorithms based off of trading theories, much like centralized traditional securities do. So yeah, I mean, we're essentially on Lattice, we're going to want to open that up to a marketplace. What's going to be the best bot based on the right algorithm? So
some people say,
I mean, yeah.
Go ahead, Matthias.
No, I mean, basically, I mean, the bot question is, you know, it's a pretty philosophical question if you really break it down, because it basically, we're talking about an open, decentralized system, and a bot you plug into a decentralized system, you can't really stop that. So the same way you can't really stop DeFi. So that would lead really in a very deep philosophical discussion. How to counter that then again, because that, you know, it's a whole other subset of issues that comes up with that. But yeah,
you get some people that say, oh, all bots are bad, but there are automatic market makers which are bots, and they just create options for people as well. So it's something I think people need to get educated on when they're using these systems, because you can see things and understand what is a bot that is created by an individual or something that's created by the software in the market, and which is a service essentially.
I think it's interesting. Bots are an interesting thing. Like, we all make fun of some of the top 10 coins, and like, why does it even exist? They exist because they've been indexed in some sort of bot trading algorithm for funds, and simply first mover advantage gets them there. So a sign of a bot coming into your ecosystem is probably a positive signal, if anything. And it's just going to get more sophisticated.
Yeah. Mark's always saying that first to market establishes itself.
Yeah. And first of all, I feel David is a GIF. Like I keep seeing the same tree in his window going over. I keep thinking he's a GIF. There's no way it's been an hour and 15 minutes with the same tree.
He's in a studio. Yeah, he's in a studio.
It's
right?
a GIF. It's a GIF.
It's not.
He's playing.
Where are you going?
It's not.
Where are you
going?
going?
One of his kids who's waving a branch past.
I think he's literally almost in Napa by now.
He has to be. Where are you going?
Montauk.
Where do you live? Like an island?
Okay.
He's got Gokstein Island.
It's just like.
Listen. Why do you have to blow me up on live stream, bro? What is?
It doesn't. I'll blow you up live on a panel too. It doesn't matter.
But never in public, because they love each other behind closed doors. It's really sweet.
I'm like the referee for these two.
Oh, if I saw David in person, I would powder slap him with a smile.
Aww.
Ross keeps us on the rails. I like it. Ross is like, guys.
No,
talk about microservices.
No. Sometimes he doesn't though. Sometimes he's just like,
go to the bathroom.
Sometimes he's just like, guys, I'm out. You guys.
Listen.
Hey, listen. If you can't keep your personality real at all times, then you're just a robot. So I'm not going to fall into the old puppet person. I'm not a puppet.
You need to take that back, because I train ethical robots and my robots have a personality. So they are coated with kindness and humor. They tell dad
Honda bots.
Yeah.
You know what's funny?
That's hilarious, David.
That was awesome. That was very funny.
I mean, you got me.
Great point.
We're losing him. So what's next for you guys, for Constellation and Lattice, for the balance of this year at least?
We have a lot of stuff that we're doing on standards.
Well, I'm sitting back here trying to listen to Constellation explain.
We're losing him. Go ahead.
I was just saying, like this year, next year is kind of all about standards and stuff. We're building when we're talking about data, every company in the world is kind of rethinking their data strategy. Consumers rethinking how much privacy they reveal and what companies are doing with their data. And then we're working with the automotive industry through Mobi to establish standards for how data is collected and transported. And Constellation is the core piece around that data validation piece, how it's collected, how it's transported. We've got a ton of stuff that we're doing with the United States government right now, working with the U.S. Air Force, as well as about 5 to 7 agencies in the U.S. federal government around establishing that standard for how data is transacted. We call this kind of data assurance. Which is vastly different than any other blockchain technology, and then building Lattice out. And that's kind of our stake in the ground for the crypto space, where a lot of people are like, Constellation's super technical, I don't understand it. They'll be able to point to Lattice and be like, oh, why didn't they just say 0 transaction fees and scalability? Well, so I think we put all that together, and we've got a pretty dynamite end of the year, and 2021 is already kind of locked and loaded. So it's
speaking of which, data insurance, that's a whole different.
Yeah,
that's a whole different. That's a whole different topic, which we should probably visit that topic for sure.
I get super passionate about that.
Data insurance is we should have a whole different conversation on that.
Totally, there's so much money to be made, and more accountability. With data assurance for insurance companies. If we can figure out how to underwrite risk using alternative means of data, we'll create new financial products. We'll create usage-based insurance down to like our behaviors and trends. That's far evolved to what is today.
Not to mention creating a massive ecosystem and more jobs. So data insurance it's a huge topic.
It's huge, and like people should be able to get going back to your credit score that you were talking about earlier. Like people should get access to loans, not based on just some like antiquated person that's pushing your credit score based on a few things.
It's an algorithm. I mean, I've studied, full disclosure, I've studied probably 20 to 25,000 credit bureaus in my lifetime. So I'm actually a credit bureau kind of an analyst specialist. As far as, but the algorithm is a whole, it's a whole different conversation than just somebody type.
Or is it just a pad of paper?
No. It's an algorithm for sure. I mean, TransUnion and Equifax have their own algorithms. But anyway, that's a topic that I'm so passionate about that topic. But anyway, but you're right about data insurance, going back to credit, because these credit bureaus actually charge people to insure their own data. It's really crazy. So you pay monthly, but wait a minute, you're paying monthly to this company to get access to your own data.
Right. It doesn't make any sense.
It's a broken model. It's like, so
dude, I mean, it's the same thing with Facebook, man. We give Facebook access to all of our data, and then they're making a ton of money off of targeting ads.
It's like
What?
It's like this.
How are we not getting a piece of this?
It's like, I'm going to pay somebody to have access monthly to tell me that I'm Mark or you're Ben.
Yeah.
But wait a minute. We're going to change the look of Ben. But no, you can't change the look of Ben because Ben's Ben. No, but we're going to form another Ben. Like, it's such a broken model that we're paying people for ourselves.
Yeah.
It should be on the blockchain.
Totally. Yeah.
I've always been a believer that credit should be on the blockchain. Your person's credit should be on the blockchain. The second somebody comes into that space and puts people's credit on the blockchain, and we can now control not just our own money, our own currency, but we control our own credit.
Yeah.
That's a billion-dollar industry. Equifax gets the old screw you, TransUnion gets the screw you, Experian gets the screw you, and we take back our own life.
But you can't get there until you're doing what
and we can reverse it.
Doing, where
they can pay us.
You have to manage your own data first.
No, but that's what I'm saying is you'll get companies like Equifax and TransUnion then having to pay us for our data. So we'll have complete control.
Right. So exactly. So I mean, that was a thought exercise that we had 6 months ago is how does our network create an audit layer for people down to the specific individual and various things. You should be able to toggle your privacy settings.
Yeah, it's very simple. Tap into Visa, tap into MasterCard, tap into Amex, tap into Capital One, tap Wells Fargo, whoever.
Yeah.
And my data is coming back through blockchain to me. Mortgages, bank cards, loans, whatever. And you know what? When somebody wants to report on me, they're going to come and ask my permission.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, they have to ask for your. Well, listen.
The blockchain that gets into the credit space, man, is going to absolutely kill it.
I think we should all build it together.
There's only three or four. There's only 3 or 4 major companies in the world, so competition is literally nothing.
Yeah.
And you only have to campaign 4 companies. In fact, just a couple. I don't know. In the USA, I think it's Experian, but I know in Europe it's.
But they're so antiquated. Like, we've talked with all the insurance companies, by the way, and they're like, "Man, you guys are way evolved. We don't have time. We're not even close to that." We're like, maybe we should just do this. It's like,
but that's the thing.
Go direct to consumer.
Ben, that's the thing. That's when, like, this year, I feel like this is the year where people need to come together. And when I say people, people should come together. But what I'm talking about is projects. Legitimate projects should be coming together and aligning together to perfect their project and the other person's project and take things to the next level. Because I truly believe, like, 80% of the stuff that is out there right now, it will not exist. Those that will go ahead and exist will be the ones that are out there partnering and understanding that in order to get to the next level, you need a partnership.
Of course.
You need that somebody to go ahead and say, you know what? They provide something that, like, we don't have time to build this. They already have it built. Let's partner up so we can level up.
And unfortunately, we still live in crypto Twitter, and that's the problem here. So we're 6 people right now, and we're 6 people from 6 probably different projects, whatever, and we're passionate about our own projects. But we can have a debate, and we can be adults about our conversation.
Sure.
And we can agree to disagree and still shake hands. So this is the challenge with crypto right now, is you're getting the younger generation who probably made a lot of money, and it's a lot of pride involved and a lot of ego involved.
Yeah, but those are not the people that you need.
I understand that.
We're looking at we need to get away from this whole.
I understand.
How does adoption happen? Okay, we have it all backwards, right? We're looking at crypto Twitter as our base to go ahead and tell us what we need to do. No, like that. When you're looking at avatars to go ahead and tell you what to do, you're doing it wrong. We need to step out of our cars, right? I'm gonna step out, open this door, and get out, right? Because we need to go meet people and do meetups and grassroots. Go ahead.
You know how this? You know what the problem is? You know what has to happen? We got to close the frickin' door on the I people.
The who?
Close the door on the I people and open the door to the we people. That's what happened. We need to just do that. We just close frickin' I. Oh, you're an I slam.
Yeah.
You're a we person. Great. oh, you're with Virgin Casino Coin, or you're with, you're with another project, or David, you're with another project. It's like, okay, can we pull from that and use it in our ecosystem somehow? No, we can't. Perfect, no hard feelings. We just can't use any piece. Or a good example with us is Virgin Digibyte. Like we got to open up communities to pull and just create one community.
No, but you know, the thing is with Constellation, like just the government contract, just to be aligned with the US Air Force, like that's adoption. You just stepped out of this space. You're not in crypto Twitter. You didn't get, the finalization from crypto Gumby, okay, to go ahead and become a strategic partner with the US Air Force. Like that's fucking adoption, excuse my language. That's stepping out, that's actually implementing blockchain and even explaining blockchain to somebody, and more efficient it is to use old systems. That to me is stepping out and growing this space. And that's what I'm looking for. That's why I constantly preach it. Like we need to step out of this space and we need to build partnerships.
And this is this, and you know what, David? And this is on us as a media company. This is on all the media companies. This is on us. This is on our shoulders, buddy. This is why you're G Media. This is on us to help do this.
Glad that you said that, Mark, because like the media can be very dividing, and the people that are absolutely out for blockchain adoption, which David and I discuss often because we market and do PR in the same form. And we're of the mindset, and I'm not speaking for David because I work with him on a project. So, we talk about this all the time, but it's together at the top together. If you don't hold hands, to the top together, like how are you going to get there? Why do we want a bunch of competitors in this space when nobody has to be competition? Because we're not going to consume, everything on the planet. We can work together in some form or another. And that's a lot of the marketing approach that David has been very successful with on projects that we currently work together and have in the past. And, and that's what Lattice and Constellation are trying to do too. Yep. When I came into it, I was really impressed by, not to drop again, but a project David and I worked together on together. It had such a great, strong community. And I hadn't seen anything like as crazy, loving, and fun as that before. And then I stepped into the Lattice community and I thought I was going to be completely blindsided and, have to do all this marketing completely on my own with nothing. But they have a community in there. And I woke up this morning and I saw like 30 gifts or something. They had made memes of like support and encouragement. And so what the founders of Constellation has built is not just a fan base, and it's not potential users that they can monetize off of. It's like loving community. Like we were trying to get to know each other when I came on this, and Ben's like, he's like, yeah, like there was this guy in our group and he was going through a rough time. So I did this nice thing for him. And he wasn't boasting or anything. He was just like, that's what we expect, out of our community. Like we're not in it to just monetize off a bunch of people. We're here to bring value. Like we love these people. So,
but that's the thing. Those people that connect with the community, right, Sam? Like you have, that's where a lot of projects go wrong. Like they think like, hey, I built this phenomenal platform. Now you're going to come to me. Like, I don't need to do anything. You're going to come to me. They don't do no AMAs. They do nothing. They just sit back and they're like, project, it sells itself. Yeah, absolutely. You have a great project. I'm sure people will find out about it. But ultimately, if you are not engaged with your community members, if you do not know their names, if you're not at least, look, anybody sends me, I send out a tweet. I'm on Twitter. Somebody replies to it. There's like sometimes like 300, replies. I'm replying to everybody. These are the people that put me on the pedestal. Without them, I'm nobody. I can have a voice, but nobody's listening. But these people just like, for me to just say hello to them, that means a lot to somebody. It would mean a lot to me also if I went ahead and reached out to Gary Vee, and he replies to me and says, hey, what's up, Dave? It's like, wow, he noticed me. And that's what we have a problem. Like if you're not building that community to go, and once you build that community, they're able to educate others on the product, it makes it so much easier to go ahead and take yourself to the next level.
You know what, David? You're absolutely right. You know, I'll be honest, I get about 400 notifications a day on my phone. And I try to reply back to every single one of them within about a 24-hour time frame if I can. Different time zones, stuff like that. Building and maintaining a relationship with a community should not be easy.
Yeah.
So anybody that says building a community and having a large community is easy, maintaining it should not be easy. It takes a lot of work. David, you just spoke to it. How long does it take you and I and everybody here? How long does it take to reply back to every freaking message within a 24-hour time frame, buddy? It takes a long time.
Hours.
It takes a long time.
But think about it. We have, for me, I'll speak on my behalf. Like I have to, we're running G Media. I have PAG Global. There's other things that I'm doing. And then like, again, I always feel like guilty. Like I see people like send me DMs or whatnot, whatever it is, even from Telegram, they'll tag you. And it's like, you don't reply to this person, you're going to leave a bad taste in their mouth. Now they should understand, like, listen, Ben's busy, Matt's busy, you guys are busy. It's okay to reply the next day, but like, get to it. Like these, again, I'm be repetitive, but these are the people that will take your project to the next level. Do not forget the people. Do not forget your community. Do not think that you're better than your community, and do not think that you are better than somebody in general.
That's right. Correct.
Totally.
And I don't reply back to have you heard of. So for everybody out there that hasn't got a reply back from me, it's because you started your sentence with, "Hi there, have you heard of?" I don't reply to those. But
I feel like crypto is like one of the things. If you've ever seen Fight Club, crypto is totally Fight Club. Nobody really totally understands blockchain. They don't really understand Fight Club, but they go to their office the next day and they've got a black eye, and you're like, dude, don't talk about it. Like, I get you, man. I get you. It's a weird little group you're a part of. I don't really understand it all and why we beat the shit out of each other in a basement, but don't talk about it. And then you're like, dude, I get it. I'm part of the Fight Club.
Yeah. 99% of all failure comes down to communication, whether it's in business or whether 99% of failure comes to, it all comes down to communication.
But you know what, the sick part, and Ben touched on this, the sick part about this community, and I've always, listen, I don't care if you like me or not. Like I'm blunt as fuck. So like, it is what it is. At the end of the day, you guys know already, like at the end of the day, I'm going to express myself and I'm going to express my feelings. My thing is, this community, we want adoption so bad. We want to grow. We want to take over. We want to have our own, like, we really want to get to that space where like we're on the same level as everybody else. But yet when you have real projects that go ahead and really put extreme effort, funds, everything into it, and they have one little hiccup, automatically it's deemed a failure. And that shit spreads like a forest fire. Nothing, I know Cali's having shit right now, but no intentions there. But forest fire all around. And now, not taking it here saying that Constellation is, but now Constellation's a bad project because they didn't deliver. They said the 14th, but they came out with it on the 15th.
Oh God.
We are so fucking immature.
I know.
It's horrific.
It's like McDonald's forgot my fries the other day. There goes their stock. They're a shit company. They frickin' forgot my fries. I went back the next day and they forgot my fries again.
They're a fraud.
Those assholes, they're done. Exit scam. McDonald's is done.
That's why, like, when we have the people from IBM and all these other companies come on, we have Constellation here. We have an audience, I know for sure, that is into blockchain and they're into these kind of projects that like you can sit back and you heard everything that came from Constellation today, and it's a real project, and they're gonna go study it and they're gonna go contact you guys because they're interested in a real use case. They're not interested in sushi. They're not interested in banana. Okay, they're not interested in grapevines. All right, that's not what they're looking for. Though, listen, money's money. I play DeFi, so I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I'm an angel, I don't even touch it. Yeah. For a quick buck, I'm going to go in there because I did suffer for 3 years, just like the rest of the people. So I get it.
Here, we have 6 people in this conversation right now, and 6 of us come from vastly different backgrounds, and we all have vastly different skills. what this tells me, and I look to blockchain and crypto. If you're in crypto, you're elite. You're one of the very smartest people in the world. Crypto has some of the smartest people in the world. Think of our backgrounds: technology, coders, developers, and I'll even go as far as saying hackers. Some of the best hackers in the world are probably involved in blockchain and crypto. And whatever, call them bad and call, but you know what? The world needs hackers too, because
Ask
that's
KuCoin. Ask
so,
KuCoin.
well, I'm just saying the world needs the. I'm not relating it to hacking like KuCoin. I'm talking about the world needs hackers because it's keeping the government.
I was being facetious.
It's keeping the government straight too. So we have the smartest people in the world involved in crypto. All we need to do is now take those smartest people and be smart about what we're doing with those people.
Yeah, but that's why I'm going, like, like, for me personally, sitting here, like, I would never, I tweeted about Constellation. I'm never ever forced to tweet. If I think your project is garbage, I'm not tweeting about shit. I don't shill. People might think, hey, I go on Twitter, I talk about the bags I have and that I acquired and that I believe in. If I haven't seen a royalty check yet, so I'd love somebody to go ahead and shoot me off. If I've mentioned you, please do me a favor. I will give you my business address. You can go ahead and send me off a royalty check. But I haven't seen shit from anybody. But at the end of the day, I'm going to push, me personally, I'm pushing real projects, and I will push a project like Constellation out there so others that are interested in real technology can go ahead and take a look at it. And that's not me saying that because they're on the show, because you know how I am. We had, 5 shows ago, we had a guy who came on here sleeping. So, like, Ross is laughing, but I took it to him. I didn't really care. Don't come on here unprepared trying to sell me something.
We're on this show.
We're all very special in our own little way. We just have to figure out how to utilize that special talent. That's what.
What's your what? My last question to Constellation is this: what do you think your and I'm very straightforward to everybody when I say this. What do you think is your biggest? What's your biggest pro and what's your biggest con? I'll say flaw, not con. Con. Somebody will tape this right now and be like, "He said con." What's your biggest flaw you think that you need to adjust?
As a company?
Yeah.
As a company, I think we're
pro first.
What?
Then.
Pro.
The pro first.
We're very authentic, and we're driving a narrative that has some negative connotations to it, and it's a rather large vision. So I think our team is very authentic and transparent. We have a lot of humility as a company. I know I'm talking very ethos driven statements.
Yeah.
But I also think that we have a very solid North Star that keeps us driving a vision that's still not completely adopted within companies. And so that takes an intestinal fortitude like no other. And that's why we have such a powerful core team. We don't need giant marketing teams. That's not where blockchain is today. You need people to really understand the value and make it easy to consume. So I'd say that's our pro, is that we're very humble of a team. We're very transparent. We're very approachable. Those are things that you want to do business with. You want to do business with people that are humble and transparent and know their flaws. Like, do we know our flaws through and through? You can't blindside us and be like, you know what, I got them. No, we already know those things.
I love the word. I love the word humility.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask Matty. I wanted to ask him the same question. I feel like we left Matty out. He got the library in the back. I want to ask him.
No, he was just super dialed in, Matt.
Well, let me elaborate.
I love this. I love it.
No, I mean, I agree with Ben. I mean, look, we're such a tightly knit team, and it really ties back into what you guys asked in the very beginning. Is how did we come up with all these multiple papers and all that stuff? I mean, we've gone through the ringer, right? I mean, we listed in 2018 when into a dumpster fire, and we've really gone through a massive growth process. And I always compare us to a Navy SEALs team. We're so tightly knit at the core that nothing can shake us at this point anymore, because we already went through it, and that has built such good relationships. I mean, I trust those guys with my life. So it's fucking awesome, and I think that reflects outward, and I think that's what makes us maybe a little different from others. I don't know, but that's just what I perceive as really our core strength, to be real people and a real company, not just something. It's a growth process of us at the core, but that growth process reflects into everything in the Stardust Collective, our decentralized community, and that's the people we draw towards us. And it's not just, oh, can you do this for us? It's like, oh, there's actually human relationships that are being built, and that's what makes it really worthwhile, and people really find meaning in what we're doing, and then it becomes that attractor where it's like, oh, this is really different. This has a different tune than that other stuff, and that's what I'm really, really proud about, and that's what I think it's the greatest strength. And then that would be my 5 cents.
One last question from me, and then you guys can, whoever has a question, but this is my last one. How do you guys attack this, where your community will go ahead and reach out to you and say, guys, what's going on with the price? Because listen, at the end of the day, a lot of the community members, they're looking to make gains. How do you guys, what is your approach when you have community members saying the price isn't moving, or when are we mooning? Like, what is your response to that?
I mean, we've really,
Dude, I'm a little brash, but I'm like, dude, get out of here, man. Like, oh, why isn't it changing? I don't know. Why is the sky blue, dude?
You know how I respond to people? I'll be like, what's the price?
Yeah. I love that response just now. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, it's like, do you want me to look at the price all day, or do you want me to start trying to build the project? What do you want me to do?
I think that's something we have to work on as an industry, because when you look at traditional finance and investors, they'll invest in something and sit on it for 5 years.
Yeah.
When here they're like, will I double my money in a month? And it's just like, this maturity is just missing.
Well, stock forums are the same thing, Ross. Like, right. I'm in some stock forums, buddy, and it's the exact same people, just not as many of them.
No, I trade stocks. I trade stocks, but I don't join the community.
I'm in the forums, buddy, and it's the same thing. Oh, they're dead. They're dead. I'm like,
no, but I love that though. I love the whole and I get it. Like right. I get the whole that was intense, and I love it, because that's the kind of shit I would say. You know what? Honestly, do me a favor. I'll buy your shit. Get the fuck out. Like, you know what? I'm trying to build something. You're here yapping away about price, because then, like, people that are really sitting in your community that believe in DAG and they believe in Constellation and Lattice, and they're sitting, they're like, yeah, this is an amazing project. Then they have this fucking crypto Sesame Street guy sitting there, fucking grouch, and talking about, well, when's the price going up? When is this shooting up? That's the type of motherfucker that would say, give me your bags, whatever you paid for them, here's a check for $50,000. Get the fuck out of my room.
Yeah.
You know what I tell them? You're the community. You drive the price.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to price, put some value into the community.
I think they won't. But those are the people that won't. The people that sit back and say, well, great project, but one moon. Like, those are the people that'll never go out.
Wow.
So into crypto Twitter, into Reddit, into whatever social media outlet it is, they will never step out of that Telegram group to let people know, hey guys, you know what? Maybe you should check out Constellation. Here's what they got on tap. They'll never do that.
No, but I love trolls, man. They're so fun. I'm like, dude, bring it. Let's go. I was like, I love it. Like, I like lick my knuckles. I'm like, I'm ready to go, man. This is let's have some fun. But realistically, we do have to, everybody's got their own investment style. So I don't want to say
it's like being
I mean, short-term investors, that is this, there's one play. Long term, like That's the fun part of crypto, is that there is a mix. It's not just it doesn't have to just be the long term. Like, you get to have more flexibility. If you want to come into a coin for 3 months and you are going to care about the price for 3 months, you're right. You better work your ass off to figure out how to get that price up if you're a short-term liquidity player. You know
what it is? There's a lot of people that fell into a lot of people that
he's gone
and fell into.
He sounds like the Ethereum blockchain right now.
Oh, you're an asshole.
You were lagging.
You were lagging.
Lagging,
it wasn't
yeah.
your statement. It was
No, it was you lagging. Yeah.
Now, falling into Bitcoin and it goes up, you are now officially.
I mean, good point. Good point.
So
I mean,
close, man.
very well said. We get it. I mean, you look like a bunny right now, but that's okay.
I think what he wants to say is that people just got lucky once, and that creates an attitude of people just
correct.
They just
of course
producing gains without needing to do anything.
Oh.
And that's kind of like a very pervasive type of like.
I've had people that have said, hey, hey, dude, I bought X, Y, whatever, back in 2018, and it's lost like 96%. Well, dude, you've had 2 years to buy more. So it's your investment, budget it out. You've had 2 years to buy it down. So why are you still here after 2 years still complaining about 2 years ago? You should have just went and worked harder and then bought it down, or not done it in the first place. If you're still talking about your investment from 2 years ago and complaining about where you bought it, then you shouldn't have invested or be an investor at all.
95% of these people are first-time investors. So
well, then they're following the wrong people to talk about it. And that's on us. That's on us, actually. That's on our
because
community.
Bitcoin was, when you see something skyrocket, everybody jumps in, and now they're like, okay, where do I go from here? Because they have no idea what they're doing. Like, they really don't. Like, honestly, a lot of these people don't invest. That's why they're like, if they don't put $500 into this particular shit coin, they expect a 500 times and return on it within 4 days. That's the mentality. We need to grow out of it.
Well, I'll also say it on camera that we don't associate with investors in that context. They purchased a product. So
correct.
Anybody in the US that's watching?
We don't either. We don't either as a team. Like whatever. Both my teams, we don't ever speak. In fact, we never speak about price.
Let me clarify for everybody. This is educational. This is not for you to go ahead and to invest into something. You can go ahead and look at a project and go from there.
Yeah, we bring on projects never to speak about investment opportunities to the community. We bring on projects to learn about their projects and to see how they can help our ecosystem. We never, ever will talk about what you should get into or how getting into something will make you money. We'll never talk about that.
Half of these people can't even invest into a relationship.
So,
let's not even
talk
about,
Ross, we're on OT, buddy.
This is the longest podcast because we have so many incredible people on it and such great projects. So I was like at the beginning I was like, oh my god, we're getting like, is this like are we getting bombed here? And then all of a sudden it's like, this is cool. This is actually like, we have 6
It's a fun hangout.
Yeah, we have 6 very different people. It's awesome. I mean, I wish Sam would speak more, but that's okay.
I tried to leave. I just set this up. Like, you made me stay.
Sam is one of our most common, Sam has the most appearances on the G Media Network than I think anybody else.
That's what I'm saying is she needs her own cast.
It's getting bad because Bad Crypto said that too, and one other Chris Rice too. There's a few that have said that. So I'm not doing my own podcast. I'm old and tired.
YOLO.
Don't get burnt out.
So if you're old and tired, what does that make me? I'm wondering. I'm really starting to think what that makes me if you're old and tired.
Grandpa, I mean, Mark.
Wow.
You're
Shots fired. Guys, and this is where you can go ahead and leave on your last thought. So, Constellation, you guys, Maddie, and Ben, you have the floor. Let the people know if you have a message. You got literally 2 minutes to let these guys know what you guys are all about. If you didn't get a chance to get everything in this podcast today.
Diaz?
Ooh, go
I
first,
already
man.
began. Yeah, I think that there's an amazing story around data privacy that's starting to emerge in the world. And with COVID, we all started to listen and look at truth in a different way, and what type of access to information we have. Are we being lied to? Is this the full truth? Like, things are coming up in the world that we never thought of and never thought we'd see. And it's just awesome to see that narrative kind of play. And what Constellation has kind of all been about is creating this honest, trusted world of data. We happen to be working in the blockchain space because we believe in decentralization. We believe in the core values there. And we also believe in evangelizing this technology to a level that we don't have to over-explain blockchain and start with, well, it's kind of complicated or it's kind of weird. So I think that Constellation's about bringing a new level of sophistication to this space and trust. So
I love it. Fantastic.
Me too.
So where do they and where do they learn more really quickly? You want to direct our community?
Our Telegram is pretty awesome. We've got so many people involved that are governing that network. They do not get paid for it. They do it. They show up every day because they believe in our mission and what we're doing. Our website, constellationnetwork.io, Lattice Exchange are our two websites, and you can find a ton of resources there. We've got some partner papers that we really dive into the technology and how we position ourselves. So we have a lot of stuff, and just reach out to us. We're people too.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic, guys. Well, thanks everybody for your time.
Yeah,
and
thank you guys. This is awesome.
We'll have some links in the chat on Twitter to the websites and some of the resources here. And we'll talk to you guys soon. We'll be watching what you're doing.
Yeah, share this with your communities, because I think it's important to get all the communities involved. And the more we share each other's stuff, the more people are going to listen to real people. So.
Oh, I was tracking the communities while we were doing this call, and there are people like, hey, getting my cup of coffee, ready to watch. So
nice.
They're full on. Yeah.
Apparently your community is attacking me right now because they said I did not do enough promotion or enough press on this Sunday show, because they had to tune in like 20 minutes later because they only saw it on my feed. I was like, yo, dude, like I sent it out, man. What the hell do you want from me, man? Your community's tough. Oh, they are tough as nails,
That's
man.
okay, because they can watch the replay. It's available.
Oh, and Sam,
go.
How was your donut?
What donut?
I saw you eating it. I saw you eat the donut.
I don't know what you're talking about, Al.
So hold on. This is the same thing. So now Sam eats a donut, but on my first show, I had Sam on Gakshi Unfiltered, and we had Ross having 2 cups of whiskey, drinking it at the same time.
I wasn't on camera, and those were beers, and it was a long day.
I didn't know he was on camera.
Sam, what did you say? But Sam, what did you say? You were like,
I was like, what is Ross doing? And he's like, oh, nobody can see Ross. He's hidden from the camera. And then at that point, I was like super focused on him during the show because he was doing goofy stuff. And I was like, man, and he was so...
And he was trying to Zoom with us last night while he was in his hot tub. And it's like, Ross.
I was watching hockey.
Listen, I don't want to bring up the mini puck spot treatments or whatever that shit was called.
Mini puck.
Yeah. It was something, but I don't want to go ahead and steer.
It was spa. It was spa mini pucks.
You guys are just jealous because you weren't watching hockey in the hot tub.
To bring Odyssey out, like I'm rooting for it.
All right.
Thanks,
well,
everybody. we will share everything here, and we'll talk.
But congratulations! I want to see it. I want to see it go to the next level.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody enjoy.
Fun.
Thank you very much for your time.
Happy
Sunday.
Sunday.
Great.
Oh!
Happy Sunday.
All right, guys. Take it easy. Thank
Have
you
a good
again.
one, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
The Blockchain Breakfast podcast is sponsored by Crazy 8 Token, the newest payment solution for casinos and their customers in emerging markets around the world. Crazy 8 Token is powered by the Casino Coin blockchain. For more information, visit crazy8token.com. And also, Futurist Conference, Canada's largest blockchain and emerging technologies event. Register today at futuristconference.com for this virtual event happening November 11th and 12th.